$1.2 billion. That's what Union Pacific just agreed to spend, not on new locomotives, but on rebuilding old ones. Locomotives that are pushing 30 years old. Some people call it the smartest investment in railroad history. Others say they're just avoiding the future. So what makes a locomotive worth saving, and when should you just let it die? In February 2026, Union Pacific and Wabtec announced the largest locomotive modernization deal in railroad history. 1,700 AC 4400 locomotives will be gutted and rebuilt over the next several years. That's nearly a quarter of UP's entire locomotive fleet. Each one will emerge from the factory with a new engine upgrade, new digital systems, and capabilities that didn't exist when these machines were built. But here's the question nobody's asking out loud. Why not just buy new? A brand new locomotive costs around $3 million. It comes with the latest emissions technology, the newest digital systems, and a full manufacturer warranty. A modernization costs significantly less, maybe $1.5 to $2 million per unit. But you're still working with a 30-year-old frame, 30-year-old trucks, a platform designed in the early 90s. So why is the largest railroad in North America betting over $1 billion on the past? The answer involves economics, emissions loopholes, and a diesel engine that refuses to die. To understand this deal, you have to understand the locomotive at its center. The GEAC 4400CW was introduced in 1993, and it changed everything. At the time, Electromotive Division had just released the SD70 MAC with alternating current traction motors. AC motors were a revolution. Simpler, more reliable, better adhesion, phenomenal pulling power. GE responded with the AC4400CW, and railroads couldn't buy them fast enough. Over the next 11 years, GE built nearly 3,000 units for North American railroads. Union Pacific alone bought over 1,000 of them, including hundreds more when they merged with Southern Pacific in 1995. These locomotives became the backbone of American freight hauling. At the heart of each one is the 7FDL 16 diesel engine, 16 cylinders, 4,400 horsepower. And here's the thing about this engine. It's basically indestructible. The FDL platform has been in production since the 1950s. These engines routinely run for decades with proper maintenance. Many of Union Pacific's AC4400s have been hauling freight for 25 to 30 years, and they're still going. The frames are solid, the trucks are proven, the basic platform works. So why throw all of that away when you can make it better? Let's walk through what actually happens when an AC4400 enters Wabtec's modernization facility. The process takes about 8 to 9 weeks. First, the locomotive is washed and completely drained of fluids. Then it's stripped down to the frame. Everything comes out, even the wiring, all 6 miles of it. The frame is inspected for corrosion and structural integrity. We're talking about 80,000 pounds of structural steel that forms the backbone of the locomotive. The prime mover, the FDL diesel engine, is removed and sent for remanufacturing. This is where the FDL Advantage upgrade comes in. Every engine receives improved air handling and a high-pressure common rail fuel system. This new fuel injection technology allows for much more precise control over combustion. The result? A fuel consumption reduction of over 5%. That might not sound like much, but when you're burning millions of gallons of diesel per year across a fleet of 1,700 locomotives, 5% adds up fast. At current diesel prices, we're talking about tens of millions of dollars in annual fuel savings. And because the engine burns fuel more efficiently, emissions drop too. Wabtec estimates around 350 tons of CO2 reduction per locomotive per year. But the engine upgrade is only part of the story. The real transformation happens in the brains of the locomotive. Every modernized unit receives Wabtec's new modular control architecture. This is a complete replacement of the locomotive's control systems, next-generation diagnostics, better data collection, software that can be updated remotely. The locomotive can now tell maintenance crews what's about to fail before it fails. Then there's Locotrol expanded architecture. This is the distributed power system that allows locomotives to be placed at multiple points in a train, front, middle, and rear, all controlled by a single engineer in the lead unit. It's what makes modern 3-mile-long trains possible. The XA upgrade improves radio communication reliability by 50%. Fewer communication losses means fewer train delays, smoother operations, better fuel efficiency. And here's the stat that matters most to the people actually running these trains. 14% increase in tractive effort. That's 14% more pulling power from the same basic machine. Combined with an 80% improvement in reliability, these modernized locomotives aren't just refreshed, they're genuinely better than they were when they left the factory 30 years ago. Now let's talk about why this makes financial sense. Because ultimately, railroads are businesses. Every dollar has to justify itself. A new Tier 4 locomotive costs around $3 million, maybe more. And here's the dirty secret about Tier 4. All that extra emissions equipment, it actually reduces fuel efficiency. To meet the EPA's strict particulate and NOx requirements, manufacturers had to add systems that consume more fuel. A modernization costs roughly 30 to 40% less than a new locomotive. And because EPA rules cap rebuild investment at 50% of the locomotive's value, modernized units only have to meet Tier 1 plus emission standards. That's less restrictive. It means the FDL Advantage engine can actually deliver better real-world fuel efficiency than some brand new locomotives. From a CFO's perspective, this is a no-brainer. There's another factor that doesn't show up on a simple cost comparison. Fleet standardization. When you operate thousands of locomotives, having a standardized fleet makes everything easier. Parts inventory is simpler. Training is simpler. Maintenance procedures are consistent. Once this program is complete, Union Pacific will have over 1,700 modernized locomotives that all work the same way. Same digital systems, same control architecture, same diagnostic capabilities. That level of standardization translates directly into operational efficiency. But let's be honest about the risks, because this isn't a guaranteed win. Modernization programs have failed before. The EMD SD50 in the 1980s was supposed to be a simple power upgrade. Instead, it created years of reliability headaches, higher stress on components, electronic failures, chronic maintenance problems. The lesson? Pushing an older platform too hard can backfire. Then there's the question of technological obsolescence. The railroad industry is slowly moving toward alternative fuels, battery locomotives, hydrogen, maybe even electrification. By investing over $1 billion in diesel modernization, is Union Pacific doubling down on the past? Will these locomotives still be relevant in 20 years? Or will they be stranded assets when the industry finally shifts? There's also the labor question. The railroad maintenance workforce is aging. Experienced technicians are retiring. Even with standardized fleets, you need skilled people to keep these machines running. Finding and training that workforce is a challenge the entire industry is facing. But Union Pacific is betting that the benefits outweigh the risks. CEO Jim Vena called these redesigned locomotives just like new, and in many ways they are. Same pulling power as a new unit, better fuel efficiency than many new units, at a significantly lower cost. Union Pacific isn't alone in this strategy. CSX has modernized over 260A C4400s. Canadian National is converting -9 locomotives. Across North America, railroads are choosing to rebuild rather than replace. Wabtec has completed over 2,500 locomotive modernizations for 37 customers in 24 countries. This isn't just an American phenomenon, it's a global strategy. And there's a sustainability argument here that often gets overlooked. A locomotive frame contains 80,000 pounds of steel. Modernizing that locomotive means you're not mining, processing, and shipping all that raw material for a new one. The carbon footprint of a modernization is significantly lower than building from scratch. Wabtec estimates the Union Pacific program will reuse or recycle thousands of tons of steel. Deliveries from this new order will begin in 2027. By the time it's complete, Union Pacific will have the most standardized, digitally connected locomotive fleet in North America. Every modernized unit will be capable of running the latest software, integrated with energy management systems like Trip Optimizer, feeding data back to centralized dispatch for real-time fleet optimization. So is this $1.2 billion bet a smart move? On one side, you have proven economics, lower costs, better fuel efficiency, fleet standardization. These aren't experiments. This is the fourth major modernization order Union Pacific has placed since 2018. They know what they're getting. On the other side, you have uncertainty. Technology is changing. Regulations might tighten. The future of diesel is not guaranteed. 20 years from now, will a modernized AC4400 still make sense? The honest answer is, nobody knows for sure. But Union Pacific is betting that the locomotive platform that conquered American freight 30 years ago still has plenty of life left. And with the right upgrades, the right digital systems, the right engineering, an old workhorse can learn new tricks. The railroad industry is at a crossroads between diesel and alternative power. If you want to stay updated on how that transition unfolds, hit subscribe. Ring the notification bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. And let me know in the comments. Do you think Union Pacific made the right call? Rebuild or replace? I'll see you in the next one.